Welcome back out here live to the Beaver Dam Sunflower Festival for a live edition of 7 at 4. Oh man, it is a gorgeous day to be outside.
Yes.
Friday, sunflowers everywhere. People about to release some butterflies.
Yeah, they just
beautiful
did.
Day. They did?
They did. They had over 600 butterflies they were able to release in the air as people were coming in and the gates opened at 4. But listen, one of the main topics that people are talking about today, especially if you head back that way where all the white tents are, where 120 plus vendors are, is they're talking about some of their materials, some of their merchandise, their inventory that they lost last night.
Yes.
And we really saw that on social. A lot of folks heartbroken.
Well, and I tell you, the good thing about farm folk and country folk and these, they're resilient folks. They're resilient folks because they came out of, every nook and cranny and holler around to help out, to give tents and say, you know what? You lost it, we're going to help. And Alyssa Beatty, one of our reporters, was able to talk to some of these folks. We'll bring Alyssa in now. Alyssa, welcome to the farm. How are you? You were able to talk to some of these vendors out here. What were they kind of telling you about last night?
Yeah, the vendors were just saying they are so grateful that today was still able to happen. Some came out last night, some came this morning for the first time and found their tents just crumbled, merchandise ruined, but they said luckily there was nothing too damaged, that they were able to salvage it, get it all back together, and they're just so happy that today could still happen because they look forward to this all year, not just to showcase their merchandise, but to talk to the people, get to meet them, and just showcase the beautiful sunflowers that are here.
Yeah, Alyssa, we were talking with the owner earlier in the show, and she said, they were able to prepare for the rain, but they couldn't really prepare for the wind. And I heard one vendor say that they prepare for the Sunflower Festival all year. This is the event that they bank on. Anything you were hearing from vendors out there, just like what kind of merchandise was, how are they going to do it today? They're pulling together.
Yeah, well, I know Mom and Pa's Ponies, I talked to them, and like you said, they put plastic, they covered, but that still wasn't enough because the wind, and they flipped upside down. And those were rocking ponies, for kids, and then they had moving ones, but they said it was just a couple simple paint fixes, and so they were working on that today, and they were still going to have their full set of merchandise. And the others said the same thing. It was just simple repairs, and that luckily everything was salvageable.
And Candace was saying, and I know one of the other vendors was telling us that I guess Candace's husband came out with power tools, and they chopped up a lot of these broken tent poles, threw it in the back of a hauler, and got that thing out of here. And I'm telling you, you would have no clue that an awful storm came blasting through here and tore a lot of this stuff up. So I guess they're ready for people to come out.
They are so ready, and like I said earlier, they could not be any happier. They truly came together to find new tents. People were rushing, getting new tents.
Sure.
And like I said this morning, they were out here early working, and they got everything set up, and it's looking like it's going to be great.
Alyssa, really quick, you're new to the area, okay? When you pulled in and you saw all this, what did you think?
I thought it was honestly crazy. I've never seen a field with this many sunflowers. It's very pretty, and I was very excited to see what it was all about.
Yeah.
So it's been very fun.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, Alyssa, thank you. Go get your selfie, girl.
Yes.
Go get that selfie.
Look, and the weather is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Brent, we're going to toss it over to you. One of the vendors said, Melissa, I have no idea how we were able to make it look this beautiful again in 24 hours, but they are ready for business.
Now, from the Robin Reed Weather Center, here's your first alert hometown weather forecast.
It's so good to see that. Yes, it's definitely one of those things. The first question I had for Candace yesterday when I heard about the tents and all that said, I'm like, please, what about the sunflowers? Because you can put the tents back up, but once the sunflowers are gone, they're gone. And she's like, yeah, they're good. They're good. So they're also very resilient. So love to see that. And we'll get back to Melissa, Logan, and Alyssa here in just a little bit. I did want to show you something really cool that when I'd gone out and done stories in the past about sunflowers, learned so much about them, they take on a life of their own, really do. And they take on what's called heliotropism. And it's basically where they follow the sun throughout the day. It's so cool. So when the sun comes up, they kind of point toward the sun in the morning, and then as the sun begins to move overhead, they kind of start to follow that during the day, and then as the sun begins to go and change directions toward the evening, they make their way and turn a little bit more. So they're actually moving, following that sun through the duration of the day. Now, as they get a little bit older, the sunflowers don't do that quite as much. So it's mostly when they're younger because they're wanting to get as much sunlight as possible to grow and to grow strong. And she said, as we saw in that piece, they are looking fabulous this year because of the rain that we've had and also that cooler weather. Now today we've had a couple showers moving through, not many out there and nothing like what we had yesterday. But you do notice a little bit more haze, and that is the water that's in the atmosphere, a bit more humid air that's coming in right now. The showers that I was tracking for you earlier are now out across Charlotte County, out towards Halifax County near Volans, and there's not a whole lot developing back behind that, so that's certainly good news for today. Now tomorrow, a little bit a different story because we've got this upper level low. This thing is still spinning up here in Canada. It's a low pressure system. You can see the spin. What it's going to do, it's going to drag in some cooler air, but it also pushes through a cold front. And so it's this boundary right here that will move through during the day tomorrow. Now, we don't see the whole line of storms and rain along it like we did yesterday. So I think when this comes through tomorrow afternoon, we are going to get some scattered showers in terms of the coverage, but probably not going to see as more numerous or widespread rain like what we had yesterday. So here's at 3 a.m. tomorrow. Notice a few scattered showers. As we heat up tomorrow afternoon, they begin to develop, first in the mountain locations, and then they begin to move east. Now, at this point, we're thinking that the best coverage of these storms might end up being early to mid-afternoon through about 6 p.m. So I'd say between like 1 and 6 p.m. is our better chance of seeing those showers. Could see some clusters in there that do get a little strong with some gusty wind, along with some hail and certainly some downpours, but nothing widespread like what we had yesterday. Then they begin to push east. We'll start to move on out by around the dinner hour, and then things should quiet down for us as we get into the second half of the weekend. So tonight, watch for those lows, 60 to about 67 degrees. Tomorrow, another humid day, highs anywhere from the mid-70s to the low 80s from the Roanoke Valley into the NRV, and then we're looking at some mid-80s all the way close to 90 across the south side before those storms start to get a little bit more active. 7-day forecast has the cooler weather moving in on Sunday. That honestly, in my opinion, is the best looking day. Both days look okay, but Sunday certainly the sunnier and less humid, and then we'll keep that sunshine around through most of next week with some cool nights as well. Some of those lows getting down into the 40s and low 50s.